than patterns like that. So take moments to relax when needed. If you feel overwhelmed or frustrated, you can, at that point, you can take a moment to relax and then move on. So at this point, you can do some relaxation exercises. And again, I'll go over some of them towards the end. That way you can take a moment to not feel that stressed out. So when you completed your test, any time that you have left, you can review your test, check for any mistakes, or if you left any, and also the time to take to review for any questions that you might have left blank. So that way you can answer them to the best of your knowledge. So here's our next, we're going to talk about some test-taking strategies. So if the questions are true or false, assume all answers are true and prove them false. There are generally more true questions on true-false exams than false.
Okay.
If any part is false, the whole statement is false. So if sometimes you might read the question and see some truth to it and assume that the entire statement is true. So if a part of the question you already know it's false, then the whole statement is false. So, and look for extreme modifiers that tend to make the question false. For example, modifiers as always, all, never, or only make it more likely that the question is false. Other qualifiers that tend to make the question true could be seldom, often, and many. Watch out for negative words and how they might affect the truth. For example, the prefixes un, im, and mis will alter the meaning of statements. So a double negative will make a statement true. For example, not uncommon actually means common. Questions that state a reason tend to be false. So words in the statement that cause justification or reason. So since, because, when, if tend to make the statement false because they bring in a reason that is incorrect or incomplete. True statements tend to be longer, so they have more qualifiers. So those are some things to look out for if some of your questions are true or false, or if the entire exam is true or false. If there are matching questions, examine both lists to determine the types of items and their relationships. Use one list as a starting point and go through the second list to find a match. Move through the entire list before selecting a match. So even if you already are halfway through the list and you think you already found the match, just try to go over the whole list. So after that, you cross off items on the second list when you are certain that you have a match. And once you have made all the matches that you think are correct, and you are not sure about the others, try not to guess until that point. So if you're not sure about what to match other questions at this point, if you already made the other matches, this is when, if needed, you can guess. But try not to do it until you have made all the matches. If there are essay questions or if the exam is completely an essay, some key points for that: organize your thoughts with an outline before you start writing. So whatever the topic might be, try to write it down and organize the thoughts that you might have. So paraphrase the original question to form your introductory statement. So whatever the topic is or the question is, try to paraphrase it to develop your introduction. So this helps you get the question straight in your mind and provides the professor a way to see how you understood the question. Write your answer clearly so the reader will be able to decode your writing and understand your ideas. Read each essay question with the intent to identify the verbs or words that give you a direction. For example, summarize, outline, define, and compare all instruct you to approach the subject in a different way. So use principles of good English composition when answering all types of essay questions. Be concise, avoiding vague and fuzzy speculation. So try to be as clear as you can when writing your thoughts down. Another key point is also to be natural and sincere. So whatever it is that your preparation for the exam and what you know, being natural and sincere at that point with your answer. So use terms and dates whenever possible and whenever appropriate. If there are certain key terms or dates that you know might give you points or are part of the question, using them when appropriate. So leaving space to add to your answers. So once you're done with the essay, if you have more thoughts that you gather towards the end, you can give yourself that time to include those as well. So those were some key points for those type of exams for true, false, matching, and essay exams. Now we're going to talk about some ways to manage your stress before the exam. So a key thing is to manage your time effectively. So ideally keeping a to-do list or again, a planner, and make sure to include your time for yourself and time for stress reduction activities. So not just focusing on studying, also giving yourself time to do things for yourself. So things that you enjoy and are part of your like a self-care routine. So maybe if it is going out with a friend, getting a cup of coffee, just having that time to use that stress reduction and not just cramming in that study time. Get some exercise. So regular physical activity is one of the best ways to deal with stress. It releases endorphins and that gives you a natural high. So that's a very healthy way to release that stress. Of course, avoid using drugs or alcohol to deal with your stress. So using any alcohol or drugs will only make the symptoms of stress. But when you stop using them, will only mask, the symptoms of stress. But when you stop using them, the stress will return. So meaning that this is not a long-term solution to help you manage your stress. Take a break schedule. So throughout the day, again, incorporating those breaks to minimize your stress. So you getting up to stretch, calling a friend, taking a walk. That way you can clear your mind, or if you're feeling overwhelmed, doing anything like that. And that way, when you're ready, you can go back and to return to study. Minimizing interruptions. So that's why it's important to keep managing your time. That way you're not, when you're studying, you're not disturbed or distracted. So if you have your phone, it's best to put it on the side and knowing that this is your study time. Or you can go to a place that you know it's going to be quiet, and that way you can also minimize any interruptions that may happen. So of course we have the library here, and there's study rooms there. So finding those places that you can go to where you can minimize those interruptions. Other ways, like I've mentioned before, eating healthy foods. So eating snacks throughout the day, and again, not skipping meals, because if you skip a meal, that can also lower your energy levels. So you're probably not going to have that energy to keep on studying. Practice daily relaxation exercises. So that can include deep breathing, and I'll teach you another one that's called visualization in a little bit. So another key one is to think positive and to learn how to control those worries. So instead of thinking, I'm gonna fail the exam, there's no way, I don't know the material or anything like that, just trying to think more in a positive way. For example, I've studied, I'm prepared, and I am gonna pass. So even saying something like that, a positive thought a day can also reduce your worry and your stress levels. So knowing when you need help and get it. So seeking help is not a sign of weakness. So there are many resources that are available on campus, different ways that you can get tutoring. If you need help from your professor or your TA, not being afraid to reach out to them and talk to them about it. There's different resources on campus that you can reach out to and get. That way we can help you out through this process. Another big one is learn to say no. So not feeling guilty when you have to tell others no. So if someone asks you for a favor, or if someone is, or if you're part of organization and you're maybe taking on more than you think you can handle, or even if you work at your workspace, learning to say no and knowing that that's your limits of how much you can handle. And it's okay to say no. That way you can focus on your priorities, but also have, again, that time for yourself. And again, like I mentioned before, another one is getting enough sleep. So again, not pulling all-nighters or sleeping 3 to 4 hours per night because you were doing homework or studying. So ideally 7 to 9 hours per night. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over some relaxation techniques. They're brief, but you can practice them at any point, not just for stress management. But again, these are some things that you can do if you're feeling overwhelmed, even during the exam or before the exam, to help you feel, to help reduce your stress levels and feel more clear-minded. So the first one, it's a deep breathing technique. So with this one, you can sit comfortably with your back straight. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put one hand over your chest. So ideally, that hand should be touching your, like feeling your heart, and the other on your stomach. So what you're gonna do, and you can close your eyes if you want to. What you're gonna do is you're gonna breathe in through your nose. So the hand on your stomach should rise, and the hand on your chest should move very little. So by your breathing in slowly. So you can do it for 4 counts. You're gonna go in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're gonna exhale through your mouth, pushing out as much air as you can while contracting your abdominal muscles. The hand on your stomach should move in as you exhale, but your other hand should move very little. So just noticing that you're feeling your stomach move, but the other hand not move as much. So what you do is you continue to do this. So try to inhale enough so that your lower abdomen rises and falls. So really inhaling, and then as you exhale again, counting slowly. So you can do it for 4 seconds, but really slow. What you're also gonna notice is if you feel stressed, agitated, or nervous, you're probably gonna feel your heart rate beating fast. So as you do this type of techniques, you're gonna notice that your heart rate has been slowing down and regulating. So you yourself are gonna know, like, okay, I feel more calm, and I was able to manage this, what I was feeling at the moment. So that is one, a deep breathing exercise. Another relaxation technique is what we call visualization. So I don't know if anybody has a place that you might call your happy place or your safe place or your peaceful place. So if you have that, whether it is your house, a vacation that you had, the beach, anything like that, what you can do is you can close your eyes and you can picture that as vividly as you can, but also focusing on what you can hear, smell, feel, and taste and see. So if you are there, so just trying to be that in that moment and trying to visualize that place that it is for you and incorporating as many as your five senses as possible. So just for an example, if you're thinking about a dock on a quiet lake, just trying to visualize seeing the sun setting over the water, hearing the birds singing, smelling the pine trees, feel the cool water on your bare feet, and tasting the fresh, clean air. So at this point, you are taken to that peaceful or happy place that you have, or even if you don't have one, just visualizing what your ideal place might be that can bring you that sense of calmness and peace. And again, incorporating your five senses in as much detail as you can. So if you were explaining it to someone who's never been to your happy place, using all those details, that way that person can understand why that place is your happy place. So this is another relaxation technique, visualization. And this is just an example of a schedule that you can look up these online and you can download one of them, and it's just a way for you to put your task, right? And break down the time that you have to study, and again, the time that you have for yourself. So not spending for example, if you're home by 5, from 5 to 10 studying. It's just pacing, managing your time, and that way you're not cramming everything at the last minute, but also having your time for your self-care. So maybe something like this can help out for you to have that in writing and to follow along with it. So you can look up a weekly activity schedule, and you can, if needed, you can download those from online. Or another way, so like I mentioned, I work at the counseling center here on campus. So if you're experiencing, we're here to help out our students and promote the emotional health and well-being of all of you. So we offer different services to develop your strengths, learning new skills, and achieve your educational and career goals. So we are located on the Union West, room 202. We offer group therapy. The moment it's virtual, we offer individual therapy as well. So it's just a one-on-one between you and a counselor, and career and counseling as well. So if someone is not sure of what major they'd like to pursue, we also have that option of a career counseling. We have assessments, so to rule out any, for example, learning disabilities, ADHD, or personal diagnosis, we have assessments. We have different workshops as well. And we can also see you on a walk-in basis, I'm sorry. So if you ever need to speak to someone, there's something going on, you can always come to the center. We're available Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 7, Wednesday through Friday from 8 to 5. So there's always a counselor available for you to talk to, and as well as our 24/7 crisis line. So that's the number right there that you see on the screen. So if you need to talk to a counselor, but it's after working hours or during the weekend, there's you can give a call to that number, and there's a counselor available to talk to you. And that's the end of my presentation. And I don't know if there's any questions that you might want to ask, or I can clarify anything else. So please feel free to ask if needed. No questions?
I found it very helpful, but I think I have more questions for the counseling than the preparing for midterms part of it.
I think either or.
You go ahead if you have a question about the counseling center. I can answer it. Or
So I had this misunderstanding that I thought that you had to pay, but I didn't know it was free.
yeah, so that's actually a question. There's no fee for the counseling sessions here at CAPS. So as a UTEP student, it is covered by your student tuition. So it's already covered by your student fee. So, but once you go in, you don't have to make any payments. Only reason why there might be a payment is if you're interested in any sort of testing. But other than that, the counseling sessions are covered by your student tuition.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I see here on the chat, how would we make an appointment for the counseling session? So you can give us a call at the number that I share on the screen. It's 915-747-5302. You can give us a call and just let them know that you'd like to make an appointment with a counselor, and they'll set you up. Or you can always, if you're on campus, you can always drop by to the counseling center and just ask for an intake appointment, and they can set you up. Or you can go to our website. You can also request services through there. So this would be our website as well, and that it has all the information there as well. And I sent it to the chat. Anything else? Any questions or anything I can clarify? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for your time. I hope some of the tips were useful for you all. And again, we're here at the counseling center if needed, and please feel free to reach out. And I hope everybody has a nice spring break, and thank you for your time.